As if 2020 hasn't been crazy enough, there's now talk about a housing crash in 2021. So let's discuss some of the factors that are going in here so we can figure out, is there actually going to be a housing crash coming up in this upcoming year? So I'm not going to spit a bunch of numbers at you so you can then try to figure them out. All right, there's tons of other videos and articles going into really in-depth mathematics and statistics about the economy and what could happen. Ultimately, everything is based on opinion. Nobody actually knows the answer. Everybody's taking an educated guess. So what I want to do is talk with you through the major factors here so you can decide what's going to be best for you moving forward. So let's talk about the current environment first. Right now, we have inflated home prices. All right, home prices are skyrocketing compared to where incomes are at, and that's been trending over the past 60 some years. We also have low interest rates, and these are being kept low by the government. Okay, they're doing things to keep make sure that investors want to put money into the market, so they're keeping interest rates low. And then there's also low inventory. There's not a lot of homes available, so supply and demand make sure that those home prices are high when there's low demand. Okay. And with COVID, we're also seeing uncertainty potentially leading towards more renting here in the future as people are having income instability with the potential of losing their jobs or a loss of income. And one of the biggest things that we're seeing is forbearance coming to an end. All right. So forbearance was a 6-month plan. You could then extend it another 6 months, but we're seeing people reaching the end of their forbearance. And this is going to become an issue if there isn't a plan in place by the government or if there isn't any more relief from COVID. Okay, so we're in this really strange environment that a lot of people are anticipating a housing crash. But before we talk about if there's actually a crash going on, I want to say a quick word from our sponsor. If you're looking to get pre-qualified interest rates and compare them side by side, you can go to the link in the description. It's Credible Operations, and what they do is it takes only a few minutes. They'll do a soft credit pull, and what they'll do is show you pre-qualified interest rates so you can compare which is going to be the best for you. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description. But first, let's talk about, is there a crash or a correction? See, a lot of people are throwing out the word crash very loosely. And crash, I don't believe, is what's going to happen in 2021. In 2021, I believe there will be a pricing correction. Now, these are wildly different. A crash is like an actual financial crisis. A correction is normal in markets. All markets have phases where they go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down, they go up and they go down. These spots where they go down, these are not called crashes. These are called corrections. Okay, it's all markets are cyclical. Stock markets, mortgage markets, they all go up and they go down. A crash means we have an underlying financial problem. So if we talk about 2008, that's what most people think about when they think about housing crash. And people keep saying 2021 housing crash. That's not fair because where we're at right now is nothing similar to what was happening in 2008. In 2008, you had people profiteering off of bad and predatory mortgage loans. That's what caused a financial crash. Okay, the underlying foundation was eroded and everything came tumbling down. What we have right now in 2020 is we're in a recession, but it doesn't mean that we're going to experience a housing crash. Right now, mortgages are still very sturdy as securities. They're written and underwritten extremely well, and the standards are very tight. Especially with COVID, those standards have become even tighter. In 2008, those loans were basically worth nothing. Okay, most of them were not underwritten well or to correct guidelines. Now we have very strong loans. So the debt that these properties are securing is strong. So I don't anticipate an actual crash that's going to cripple the economy. What I do expect is a price correction. We're seeing home prices inflated above what the average person can afford. That means eventually we're going to expect prices to come back down. Now, what could change in here? The hard thing that's difficult to predict is there is a potential for forbearance continuance. Right now, it's only for 12 months total, but it's very possible the government could come out and extend what the CARES Act has and push forbearance even further in the future. Because if they don't, then we're going to see delinquencies on mortgages and people not being able to pay rent. So that's something that could happen. Also, with the projected Biden administration coming in as president-elect, they promised that they're going to handle COVID differently than the current administration. Now, if that's true, then we could see things become different based on how they choose to stimulate the economy, how they choose to relieve workers and unemployment, and how they choose to handle rent and mortgage, and how they allow renters and homeowners to have some relief with those payments. That could be different than what we're currently seeing right now, and that would change what would happen with this pricing correction as well. Now, really quickly, I want to explain to you why I rent. So I'm a mortgage broker, but I rent right now. So I'll explain. 2.5 years ago, I started as a mortgage broker. Okay, in February, I hit the 2-year mark. Now, if you're familiar with mortgage guidelines, a mortgage broker is 100% commission income. So I had to wait 2 years before I was able to purchase a home. So in February, I started looking for a home, and home prices were already more than I was wanting to spend. I think I looked at maybe 12 to 15 houses, and they were all overpriced for what I saw. I didn't want to pay an extra $20,000 on a house. You know, around here, homes is like 120, 150. So an extra $20,000 in price is pretty significant. And that was in February. And we've been seeing home prices continue to increase all the way until this video date, which is in the beginning of November. Okay, so just know that if you're waiting for a correction, that's perfectly okay, because that's where I'm at too. I started in the beginning saying, you know what, I think I'm going to wait because I anticipate a correction happening. I'd rather purchase when there's a discount than purchasing at the height of the market and then being stuck in that home because prices then drop and I can't sell the home if I need to. So ultimately, if you're in that spot where you're thinking, I want to buy, but I'm hearing all this talk about a crash or a correction, I personally believe there will be a housing correction happening in 2021 or 2022. All that means is we'll see home prices dip back down and inventory will increase. It doesn't mean we're going to have this huge economic collapse. It doesn't mean we're going to have the financial burden and problems of 2008. It just means home prices will come back down to be more affordable than they are right now. So the best thing to do is to figure out where you're at financially and to have a strong foundation of finances before you look at purchasing a home. Because the best time to purchase a home is first when you're ready financially. That means paid off high interest debt, you have savings ready, you have your down payment and closing costs ready to be paid for. Then you can start exploring a home. If you find a home that you love right now and you think it's worth what you'd pay for it, go for it. You don't have to wait and miss out on a home that you really love. But if you have the patience, or if you need to work on your finances a little bit more, it absolutely might be worth waiting, because I anticipate a correction in 2021, maybe into 2022. And again, don't base your actions just based off of one person's opinion on the internet. Everything that you're going to hear about the market is 100% speculation. No matter how much data and numbers is being thrown at you, it's all opinion. Okay, nobody can predict the future. All we can do is take the best guess possible. All right, so if you want to learn more about why homes are overpriced and why it's becoming increasingly difficult to afford a home, check out this video over here. It's going to help give you some relief and understanding of this crazy market.